Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have this 2023 Corvette Z06 and we're gonna go take it for a little drive real fast, and then I'll kind of just share my impressions of what I think of this car. So then drive, we're in sport mode, and let's get going. I just love this car so much. I've actually had it for the last about 5-6 hours and it has been so awesome. Just this insanely awesome LT6 motor in this thing sounds so good. I know everybody compares this same car, but it sounds just like a Ferrari 458. And if you don't know, the Ferrari 458 was the very first supercar I ever got to drive and ever experience, and I've absolutely just fell in love with the car. And I think it's one of the best sounding and most balanced driving cars that is out there to buy. And this car definitely has all the heritage from the 458 that they said that it has, and that is not lying one bit. You can just hear that motor in the back. It sounds so good. Hopefully you can even hear me talking, and this is completely stock and it just sounds amazing. This is one of those few cars that doesn't need an exhaust at all. It just sounds so good, and then you can just, it just sounds insane. This thing sounds, it's so good. The throttle response in this is so much better than the base C8. The base C8's a little sluggish sometimes with accelerating, but this is just instantaneous. You can just punch it and it just, that motor screams to life. It pops like crazy and it just sounds so good. You know, let's pop it into manual, then I can quiet the motor down so I can talk a little bit. But yeah, the transmission, lightning fast. It just sounds so great. You're probably going to hear me say that a lot in this video. I think that's one of the biggest things that the C8, the base C8 was missing, was it just didn't sound like very good. Plus it didn't help that Chevy kind of made it so you couldn't really tune the car, but where this thing, it just sounds amazing. That flat plane crank V8 that they gave this car is just, it's so good. And it's such a fun car to just whip around. It's so balanced. This is definitely one that you could rip around on a racetrack and just have such a fun time, and that's exactly what the owner does with this. He tracks it, he takes it on rallies, he uses this car. It has over 4,000 miles on it already, so he drives this thing, and I absolutely love that he actually uses it. But this thing's just so nice around the corners. Luckily, Idaho has some really nice windy roads that we can just kind of play around on and get to see what this experience is. Do a little downshift right here. It sounds so good. Huge shout out to the owner, because I wanted to bring this to Cars and Coffee, which my car meet was this morning, and he was just like, just take the car for the weekend, just have it for a couple days. And so I just got to spend a lot more time in the Z06 than I ever expected to, and this thing is so awesome. If you ever get the chance to drive one, definitely check it out. But I will say, if I had to pick between this or a Ferrari 458, I think I would still take the 458. This one's probably better build quality and it probably has better reliability, but there's just something about the 458 that's just, it's really hard to put into words. Just the soul of the car is just so great that, this car is amazing, but it doesn't have the same soul that I think the Ferrari does, because it's just so hard to match just the amazing engineering and just the attention to detail and just the amazing driving experience of a 458. But I'll say this car, it gets close. It gets really close. But it's one of those things, it's just so good. And it's still super practical. Massive trunk out back that I have my camera gear in, and I actually get half decent gas mileage driving around town. It's not great, but this isn't what the car you get for that. But big question is, would I say that this car is worth about $170,000? I don't think so. But also, I don't think I would pay that for a 458 either, which those are just astronomical now on price. But that comes with it being the last actually aspirated Ferrari. But the engine in this car being the most powerful naturally aspirated V8 ever put in a production car. It's so awesome. It's so good. But the thing that surprised me was this has, I think, close to about 180, 200 more horsepower than the base Corvette, which I think the base Corvette has 490 and this has 670. This does not feel like it has 200 more horsepower. It feels very, very similar to a base Corvette as far as in terms of like acceleration and just like handling, which really surprised me because I was expecting such a huge leap up with just the different numbers and just the other reviews I've heard of this car. But I think a base Corvette is pretty dang close to this still. The only thing that this has over that is the sound, but I don't think the sound is worth paying the $100,000 premium. And yeah, just the over MSRP you're probably going to have to pay for it. And yeah, I don't think it's worth it just to have that flat pank crank sound. My friend has a black C8 that has a Borla exhaust, and that thing makes it sound super aggressive and super mean. And I think if you just invested $2,000–$3,000 into a really nice exhaust system for a normal C8, you would have almost just as fun of an experience driving that around. And especially now that HP Tuners has a tuning ECU for the normal Corvettes, and especially if you turbo it, then you can make the base C8 mental. If you haven't seen, Eddie Zhu has been helping out HP Tuners, and he was the first Z06 I ever got a ride in, so make sure you go check out Eddie Zhu's channel. It was so cool getting like the first experience in one of these, and now I'm actually getting to drive it. It's just so awesome. So yeah, thank you again, Eddie Zhu, for coming out when I was in Arizona and letting me ride in your Z06. But it's a bunch right here. But also, so is the normal Corvette, and I really don't think that this constitutes such a premium over base Corvette. And don't get me wrong, this is an absolutely amazing car, and it drives amazingly too. We gotta get around some farm equipment. I know it has beautiful windy roads, but there's sometimes tractors in the way. But yeah, I think if you're gonna get a Corvette and you want really great driving experience, but you also don't want to break the bank, just get like a 1LT, 2LT base Corvette, and I think you'll be almost just as happy. This isn't that much insanely faster, it just sounds better. But let's downshift again right here. Let's get one more. Oh, that engine noise is intoxicating. You don't even need an exhaust for this car, it just sounds so good stock. Awesome. I'm so happy that he let me get to experience this car and really see how it is and how it feels, and I'm really loving it. But I'm also really looking at this because I think soon I might be looking at buying my first kind of supercar sports car, and I have a lot of contenders. I'm kind of probably trying to look around that $60–$70,000 price range, and so I have things like the C8 Corvette or an AMG GT or a BMW i8, Jaguar F-Type, those sort of things, Audi R8 first gen. So I'm really trying to test out all these cars and see which one I like and what I think would be worth my money, but also what I think would be cool to show off to you guys. And so I really want you to let me know down below, what do you think, what car should I get for around that $60–$70,000 price range? I kind of want a sports car, preferably all-wheel drive, so that's where the i8 and the R8 definitely went out. But yeah, I want to know what you guys want to see. Do you want to see a Mercedes AMG GT and have me mix up the German brands that I have in the garage, or maybe another BMW if you wanted me to keep with the BMW content and get an i8, or maybe just mix it up all together and get a Corvette or Jaguar F-Type, throw a little thing in there, get some British muscle. But yeah, I want to hear what you want to see. But yeah, back to the Z06. This thing is awesome. It turns heads everywhere. This beautiful like pearlescent silver color that this thing has is just gorgeous, and Darren specced this car awesome. But and just the wide body kit that they put on it, it just gives the car the aggression that it really needs. Because that's my only gripe with the base C8, is I think it doesn't look aggressive enough and it's just a little too boxy. But I think the Z06 kit makes all the gripes that I had with the looks of the base C8 go away. This car is absolutely gorgeous, and it's just you can't go wrong with it. If I got a C8, maybe I'll try to get like a Z06 body kit for it, because it just looks so good. Which might be heresy, so sorry all the Corvette fans out there. But anyway, yeah, that's wrapping my thoughts. This car is awesome. It sounds amazing. It drives really good. Do I think it's worth the $170,000+ that some people are paying for this? $200,000? I really don't. But also, I don't think the Ferrari 458 is either. And this car was so like trying to be that car, and it achieved it very well. But the 458 is still just a hair better. I would much rather pay $170,000 for the 458 than I would for this car. But that doesn't mean that this isn't an absolutely amazing car. But if you're looking to get in a Corvette and you don't know if you can swallow paying this much, just go get a base C8. I really don't think you're gonna be having too much of a different experience, and you might actually enjoy that car a little bit more. The maintenance might be a little bit less expensive, and just paying $60,000 for a car instead of $170,000, you might actually be more willing to take it out, enjoy it, rip it around, and just, and use it for what it's supposed to be used for. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the Z06. Thank you so much to my friend that let me drive this again. I really appreciate it. It's an absolutely amazing car, and I really hope you enjoyed this drive and this talk with each other. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I catch you in the next video.